today we are going to end our series of digging deeper with getting your mind right. And so I know that this is a very non-accountant topic. However, it honestly is one that's pretty dear to my heart because our mindset can affect so many other things. And I've always been a believer of that because I am a believer. I love the Lord and I have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And I know that's not always the popular thing to have, but in all honesty, the Bible teaches us a lot about our thoughts and our mind and how that affects so much of what we do and who we are and where we go. And so for me, it's been a concept that I've always known about, but especially as a business owner, because there's so many challenges that we don't always come in contact with as individuals, but you come in contact with as a business owner. And so like what I guess I'm referring to is, for one, job stability, right? When you have a job, you know that that's a consistent paycheck, but when you are a business owner, it's not. And like, yes, I know that jobs can be unstable and they're not always consistent and they can end just as easily as other things. However, when you're a business owner, like there's zero, right? Stability in actuality, right? That anytime we can lose all of our clients, we can drop off in all of our product sales, right? It can be super unpredictable. A lot of people that, felt the effects of COVID were business owners. They weren't able to be open. And there were a lot of employees, but those employees were able to collect unemployment, or something to that effect. Whereas a business owner, typically you wouldn't be able to do that. Although in COVID special case, you were able to apply for that, depending on what kind of a business you are. However, in general, that's not the norm for a business owner, right? We don't have that kind of safety to fall back on. So we have to rely a lot on where our business goes and how it's successful and how to think about it as we're growing to be successful. And so there's a lot of things that I see when it comes to business owners that can be called mind blocks, and even in my own experience, there were things that I had to learn and overcome and work through by having a better, more positive mindset. And so today, I just wanted to kind of talk about that. And I don't have anything specific or script. I really wanted this to kind of be more genuine of a conversation. So I just wanted to kind of share, my process in mindset. And so for me and for many other entrepreneurs right out there, it's always a bit of an ebb and a flow when it comes to running a business, or a roller coaster, if you want to say it that way instead. Running a business is a little bit of a roller coaster ride because there are going to be days when you are on top of the world, you sell your products, you have a great conversation, and you're just you're pumped, right? You're motivated, you're ready to conquer the world, change it, and make it happen. But then there's going to be other days when you don't really feel like that, and you feel really low. You feel like maybe I should go back and get a job. Maybe, it would be easier if I was an employee versus a business owner. And then, especially as your business grows and you start adding your team and you have less control over what happens, delegating can be a really hard thing as well. And for me, that was one of the things that was a little bit tough. I did it and I could do it, but it was kind of tough sometimes getting to that point because I like to know what's going on and I like to have that control. And it probably goes back to me being a numbers person. Everything has its place, and, at least figuratively, because my housekeeping skills aren't the best. Anyways, that organization does not go all the way around. But when it comes to numbers, I love it because it's organized and makes sense. Everything has its purpose and its place. And, when it comes to business ownership and delegation and growing, it's not like that, right? You have to, at some point, give out some of that control, right? And that can be really intimidating. And you can have the days where you don't sell. or you have a meeting and it crashes and burns, or there was a mistake that was made and now you have to go fix it, or there was an angry customer or an angry client, or frustrated client, or whatever it might be, right? So there's all these different emotions that come with running a business, whether you like it or not. And sometimes, maybe because I'm a woman, I'm just like, it affects women way more. But, like for me, women are some, generally speaking, very emotional people. So sometimes I think we can internalize those things a lot more than sometimes men do, just generally speaking. So what I've learned is that there's a couple of things that really help my mindset when it comes to running a business. So the first thing is give yourself a break. So this is a big one, especially if you're a mom and a business owner, I think, too, because we have so many responsibilities on top of running a business. Just being a mom, like you gotta give yourself a break. Okay, so like if something happens, like I learned this early on, like there was a miscommunication and there was error on payroll, and you never want to make an error on payroll because that affects not just the business owner but also their employees, and it just makes everybody look bad. And there was a miscommunication on the business owner's part, and I ran payroll, and anyways, it was a little bit of a mess. People didn't get paid on time. Then we reversed it, and then people got overdraft fees, and it was all honesty, it was a mess. Okay, so I of course had to recoup all the fees, and that the employees got, but then also the fees for payroll, because integrity is important to me, so I recouped those fees for that client. But then I also went and I bought their staff donuts and juice and milk, for just to apologize, because it really was like awful. Like I don't like making mistakes, but what I learned was, Megan, this stuff happens, and the way that I learned it was because of my clients' reaction. Like they were like, fine, like everything works out. It's okay. You don't have to scramble. It was so kind of you to bring in this stuff, but that really wasn't necessary. You did a great job. And like, to me, I was just like, it was kind of like a light bulb at that moment. And I'm just like, you know what? I really need to give myself a break. Like mistakes will happen. It's part of the journey. And now granted, like this was my first year in business. Like, so I was still kind of like figuring it all out. And, I think back and I'm just like, how far I've grown from that point is pretty amazing. But it was because I learned how to give myself a break. So I just want to say, first thing for your mindset, give yourself a break, because your mental health is very important to the growth of your business and ability to continue on. And that's men and women alike. Give yourself a break. The second thing I want to share with you, and this is what I'll kind of close with, is being positive really helps to cover a lot of things. And what I mean by cover is like fix. So if you're positive, it can fix a lot of things that seem wrong. And I know that's not always the thing that can happen. I'm not saying that like every opportunity, be positive about it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if in this situation you are able to find the silver lining or the lesson, or the other side of that rainbow, if you want to say it that way, whatever it is, the other side of that hill, the other side of that problem, if you can find the good thing in whatever happens next or whatever happens, that will help keep you going, because owning a business is a marathon. It's a journey. It's not a sprint. If you want to grow a successful business, a profitable business, it's going to take a while. Like that's just the nature of the beast. If you want to grow a business and a team, that's going to take a while. And yeah, there are some businesses that start off and they have employees, and there's nothing wrong with that. Usually there's a lot of back end work that happens in financing and that kind of thing that happens with that. But like, in all honesty, the majority of us are building something that's going to take a while to get to the place that we want it to be in. And the thing that is going to help you get through those low moments is by being able to find the silver linings in what happens, no matter what the situation is. And there is always something that's good, whether it's messing up on payroll and figuring out how not to make that mistake again, being more clear when you're talking to clients and confirming things. That's what I learned. But something like that, right, is something that you can learn and be able to use at a later date for when something else might come along. That was my lesson. So it wasn't good that anything happened like that, but what I learned was the positive. And that's what it can be for you. The situation in and of itself might be bad, but what can you learn from that situation? What happened that actually was good? And a lot of business owners discovered this ability during COVID, right? Their entire businesses were wiped out, but instead they became creative. They made other ways of revenue that they may or may not continue on as things kind of go back to normal. But being able to think outside the box, to reflect, to grow from any situation is what is ultimately going to make you a better, more consistent, profitable, and longevity business owner, right? So I feel a little heavy after this conversation, but it's an important one to have. And so I just want to encourage you, dig deep, look at your mindset, give yourself a break, but then also find the positive or the silver lining to whatever situation that comes your way. And you are going to be able to grow a profitable, strong, successful company. And that's what we want, because we will be able to provide for our families, our communities, and our futures much better. So thanks for joining me. I'm Megan from Your Accounting Sidekick, and I will be talking to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.